And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So I hope you are all well. There's a lot to go through in today's video. As you can tell by the title, we have a 8-figure windfall to discuss, which could potentially become Celtic's way very, very shortly if this transfer speculation is to be believed. And I think it should be, because it's quite a reliable sources for that transfer story. But before I do get into that video, I want to discuss the friendly last night. Now, I don't want to get too carried away because, of course, it is a friendly. There's a lot of rotation in certain positions. But the key point really from yesterday's match was that we won 6-4. So we conceded 4 goals. And I think a major talking point throughout last season as a whole is that the defence needs some reinforcements. I mean, we signed Mark Nowacki, Gustav Lagerbilk, etc. But they were project players. And unfortunately, they didn't really have a great season. Thankfully, Liam Scales came to the fray a little bit. He did really well. Did a lot better than what a lot of Celtic fans would have expected from him, given that he was more of a squad player before Rodgers came back to the club. But we still feel like we need to get that long-term replacement that can do a job that Carl Starfelt did for many years alongside Carter Vickers. Now, I know it's a friendly, but conceding 4 goals against Queen's Park isn't ideal. Of course, that partnered with our 1-1 draw to Ayr United as well. It's not looking good so far in pre-season. Look, I'm not going to get too carried away with it, but I do want to discuss some transfer speculation with regards to the former man himself, Carl Starfelt, because there's been links today that he's looking like he will leave Celta Vigo very, very shortly. Of course, he departed last summer transfer window to Spain. It was due to kind of personal relationships. I think he wanted to go out there to be closer to his girlfriend, who moved out there as well. And since he's left, there's been a big dent in the backline. His partnership with Carter Vickers was superb. They had a great partnership together. And links today from Fabrizio Romano basically state his time in Spain could be up. Now, this is due to him kind of falling down the pecking order when their new manager came in midway through the season. And Fabrizio Romano has stated that it looks like he will leave at some point this transfer window. Now, I guess the main thing is I wanted to kind of get out there straight away. There's no actual concrete links to Celtic. But I kind of want to propose the question to you guys. Would you take Carl Starfelt back at the club? I think I know the answer to that. I think a lot of people would be happy for him to come back and rekindle that relationship with Carter Vickers in the back line. Of course, he's 29 years old now. He's in his prime of his career. He's a very good player, as we all know, what he did for us when he was here. We've been linked to a few defenders like Darragh O'Shea and Flavius Daniluic. They've been the two kind of concrete links to Celtic for the transfer window so far in the centre-back positions. But could we turn our attention to the Swede and maybe get him back at Celtic? Now, I'll try and find the report quickly, what Fabrizio Romano actually said. He basically stated that he could leave Celta Vigo this summer, with several clubs inquiring about his situation. Now, again, several clubs, it could be Celtic, it could not be. I don't think it will be. But the question for you guys is, would you take Carl Starfelt back at the club? I guess the main issue would be those wages. I'm sure he's got a massive wage increase since he left. Would he want to come back down to Scotland and maybe get a cut in his wages? Would he value first-team football more than a bigger wage packet? We'll have to see with regards to that. But yeah, I would happily take him back at the club for sure. Now, let's get into the main story of today's video, which is the big summer windfall. So this is with regards to the superstar, the former Celtic player, Jeremy Frimpong. Now, this guy is in high demand this transfer window, and unsurprisingly so, given the fact of how good he's been for club and country in the last year or so, and given how cheap his release clause is in his current contract at Bayer Leverkusen, you could only expect that type of interest for him. Now, an interesting transfer development for Jeremy Frimpong in the last few hours is that Manchester City, his former club, the club that Celtic bought him from, are interested in Jeremy Frimpong, and it could lead to a significant financial boost for Celtic this summer. Now, let's cast your minds back. So when we sold into Bayer Leverkusen, we had a 30% sell-on clause in his contract at in his sale to Bayer Leverkusen. Sorry, a car just drove past. We had a 30% sell-on clause in his contract with Bayer Leverkusen. So that's a 30% sell-on fee on the profit of any future sale of Frimpong. So if we sell him, if they sell him for 40 million euros, which is his release clause, we will get 30% of that, which will be around £7 million for Jeremy Frimpong, which is superb business from a Celtic point of view. Now, it's very, very interesting that Manchester City want their old player back. I mean, he's an academy boy from Manchester City, I suppose you would say. Been unbelievable for Bayer Leverkusen in that system under Xabi Alonso, of course. Gramado on the left wing back, Jeremy Frimpong right wing back. They get so many goals and assists. They're so involved in goals in that team. And of course, they went unbeaten in the Bundesliga last year, won the Bundesliga title. Unlucky to miss out in the Europa League final, thanks to Ademola Lookman. But Manchester City are very, very interested in him, and they are currently the front runners. That is due to the fact that they think Kyle Walker's coming to the end of his career a little bit. Still a very good player, but they want to have a long-term replacement for him should he leave or should he retire soon. And if they have identified Jeremy Frimpong as that replacement for Kyle Walker. Now, interestingly as well, if this transfer was to get over the line, we of course do play Manchester City in the USA pre-season tour. So could we see Jeremy Frimpong face his old club again, but this time for Manchester City? It could be quite an interesting spectacle if that does happen. But the main thing is we'd receive 7 million euros or pounds for him, which is a lot of money for a player that's not been at the club for many years now. So very good business there from Celtic. Of course, you know, I love these stories when we get money into the club, but as you guys all know, will we spend it? That's the bigger question, I suppose, is will we spend that £7 million in the transfer window? It's very unlikely, let's be honest. But there's been a link to a lot of players recently, so that money could come in handy for sure. I mean, Vindo Henson, the goalkeeper, £8 million. They've been quoted for that. Of course, Rojas, the young striker, around £3 million for him. Adam Idah, between £6 and £7 million for him. Paulo Bernardo, £4.2 million for him. So a lot of links to Celtic potentially coming into the club, and that money could come in handy if you want to spend on some new players. Now, I want to know your thoughts on everything we discussed in today's video. Would you take Carl Starfelt back at the club, yes or no? Do you think Jeremy Frimpong would go to Manchester City? I think for him that could be a dream move, of course. You kind of slot straight into a Pep Guardiola system. You're kind of guaranteed to win a trophy at least. Let's be completely honest, they are unbelievable side. Such a well-oiled machine. And yeah, I think that'd be a great move for him. And it'd be quite a good story for him leaving Manchester City, going to Celtic, doing superb for us, going to Bayer Leverkusen, getting to the Europa League final, going unbeaten in the Bundesliga, being one of the hottest prospects in Europe, and going back to his club where it started for him. It would be a superb story. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.